Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video I am bringing you episode 63 of Throwback Thursday. Now I used to do these videos weekly, but my filming schedule is just not quite the same as it used to be because I'm just not filming as much as I used to be because life. So it's been a few weeks since I've done a Throwback Thursday, but nonetheless I'm here to do that. Film that today. Now, before I get started with the actual eye look, I wanted to give two huge love-filled shout outs to number one, Jan Van, my Janny Boo. I will link her channel in my description box. She is my TBT inspo and muse. She is the main reason why I started doing Throwback Thursday videos to begin with. And also to Dawn, my dear friend and subscriber, who is the ultimate TBT cheerleader of the history of the entire world. Okay, so for today's video, I am pulling in the Ozzy Osbourne Bat palette from Rock and Roll Beauty. Ozzy Osbourne passed away on July 22nd, and I have just been absolutely devastated by his passing. And I was gonna not do a video with this palette and wait until my Jolie Beauty palette came, because I did break my no-buy and I got the Ozzy Osbourne palette. But my dear friend and sister Lynn, she's like, I'm kind of surprised you haven't done a video yet with the Bat palette. And I'm like, I'm gonna do a video with the Bat palette. I mean, why not? I mean, I love Ozzy. I want to pay my respects to Ozzy in this video. And so I just felt like, yeah, I'm gonna pull this in for this Throwback Thursday episode. And I've done a couple videos using this palette, and I love it. I love the fact that there's a picture of Ozzy in here, and I love the color story. I think it is incredible. Now, Rock and Roll Beauty is no longer, it got absorbed by Makeup Revolution. They used to sell a lot of the Rock and Roll Beauty palettes and other products on the Makeup Revolution site. I don't know if they do or not anymore. So I don't even know if this is still available. And if it's not, you know, it kind of stinks because I don't like seek out palettes to use on my channel that are no longer available. But I feel like, you know, most of these shadows you could dupe, right? You could dupe these, I think, if you have a pretty large collection, or you know, I mean, these colors aren't necessarily unique to the eyeshadow world, right? So I am in a little bit of a hurry this morning because I got to get to work early. So I think what I'm going to do is do just a pretty simple look. I want to put this shade Lords across my entire lid. I want to use this shade here called No More Tears, which is one of my favorite Ozzy songs, if not my favorite Ozzy song. And I also might put, I thought I had a hair on my arm. I also might use maybe a little bit of this too. And then I want to put this shade here called Sin, S-I-N, in my inner corners. This is called Secret Loser. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. So starting off by putting this shade here in my No More Tears in my transition area. Okay, I do need to get a brush for this, which I think I'm just going to use this one here. I want to use a smaller brush because I don't want to, I'm going to try not to blow this up like crazy, but we'll see. And this is going to look probably a little funky at first, but I'm hoping it all comes together. Trust the process, as I commonly say. I do have my brows done in the NYX Control Freak Clear Brow Gel, and this eyelid is primed in the P. Louise Eyeshadow Base in Rumor 02. Okay, so I'm just going to start laying this down across my transition area. Oops, I don't want to screw this up. I always do that right here. I don't know why I had such a hard time right there with my eyeshadows, but I do. Okay, you know, I knew that Ozzy, you know, is 76 when he passed, and I knew that he was, you know, struggling with Parkinson's disease, and you know, the last few times I'd seen him on, like, I commonly would watch the Osbourne's podcast on YouTube. You know, I could tell he was aging, of course, and you know, he was a rock and roller, that's for sure. And you know, I don't think it's any secret that he did some damage to himself by his addiction issues, you know, I mean, yeah. But I've always thought, no matter how he appeared or how he sounded or anything like that, he was hilarious and just a really good dude. You know, I've always loved Ozzy Osbourne. I remember as a kid being a little scared of him, like when I would see his videos, like Bark at the Moon and what else? Or just see him like in interviews or see pictures of him or his album covers or whatever. I'd be like, huh, you know, when I was really little, like grade school or whatever. But when I was in middle school, I really started to like listen to more of his music, like get into his music. And then in high school, I really got into Ozzy Osbourne. Quite commonly at like our high school football games or pep assemblies or whatever, they would play Crazy Train. And even like when my son was in high school and was on the football team, when they would be warming up out on the field, they would always play Crazy Train, Shot in the Dark, Bark at the Moon, I Don't Know, a lot of his songs. And, it was just awesome. Like, Ozzy was like the soundtrack to a lot of memories that I have of my own youth, and then my son's youth too, for sure. And my son is still a youth, and he's only 23. So I'm going to leave that like that. Well, hold on. Let me add a little bit more here. But I think I'm going to leave this like this for now. I know that just looks like a strip of blue, and that's what it is. So I'm just going to leave that like that. And then I think what I will do is go into this shade here, the Secret Loser shade, and just kind of tone down the edge of that a little bit. But I remember when the album No More Tears came out, I think I was a junior or senior in high school, I'm pretty sure. And I was just like, hello. Like, that was the album that I just loved, the whole album. No More Tears, the title song, of course, title of the album song. And then Mama, I'm Coming Home. Oh God, I love that song so much. And like Mr. Tinker Train, and I don't like this brush. I don't like it, it's too big. Hang tight just a second, I need to find a different brush. Okay, this one will work. This is a little bit more compact, not quite so big and fluffy. My friends and I, we would listen to that album all the time. It was so good. Another song that I loved in high school too, I think it was either high school or maybe middle school, was the song that he did with Lita Ford, Close Your Eyes Forever, or Close My Eyes Forever. Oh, God, I love it. Oh, I love that song. Always have, always will. It's such a good song. And I feel like that doesn't get a whole lot of like discussion, that song, but it's so good. And I'm going to link a bunch of his songs in my description box so you guys can listen if you haven't listened to Ozzy for a while. I highly recommend going and listening. There's another song that came out of his called Dreamer that's really good too. And I kind of forgot about that song. It's softer, more like a ballad. There's another song called Ordinary Man that he does with Elton John that's really good too. Really, really good. So anyway, over the past weekend, on the weekends, my husband and I are exhausted, okay? Because he works a really taxing physical job, and I work a very taxing, like, mental, emotional job. And so by the time Friday night rolls around, he and I are just done, we're donezo. We're like, we're done. No, the world needs to just back off, right? So over the weekend, this past weekend, we were both feeling real down about Ozzy, because my husband absolutely adores Ozzy. Really got into Ozzy Osbourne when he was like probably grade school, middle school, and then just really invested a lot of time, like really listening to all of his albums, watching his videos, learning how to play various songs that Ozzy's on the guitar. My husband's not like a great guitar player, but he can play the guitar, and just, loving him. So Paul was really devastated. I mean, we both cried together about Ozzy passing. I mean, we did. It was really, yeah. So anyway, we were like trying to find something to watch on TV because we were just mellowing out, vegging out on the couch, just, And I was looking at Prime, and I'm like, Paul, look, the Osbournes show from MTV from like the early 2000s is on Prime. And he's like, you're kidding, I never watched that. I'm like, oh my gosh, sit down and watch it, because I was a huge fan of the Osbourne show. I watched every single episode of every single season more than once. Like, it was just something that, like, who did I watch it with? A good friend of mine, I think. We would watch that religiously, absolutely. We would never miss an episode. I feel like I kind of screwed it up right there. Let me keep putting this shadow down. I feel like the white and the blue is getting kind of murky up there, which is fine. It can get murky. I'm not worried about the murkiness of it, but I just feel like right there is not really blending very well. I wouldn't say the shadows are the best quality in the world, but they're fine, right? They're fine. Okay, so now I'm going to put Lords across the entire lid. This is going to be very monochromatic, and I don't care. I wanted something just real easy but effective today. That's what I was hoping for. Oops. My brushes were stuck together. Anyway, so Paul and I spent most of the day on Saturday and most of the day on Sunday watching reruns of the Osbourne show that was on MTV, and just laughing and, just loving Ozzy. We just did. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And he's like, I don't know why I never got into watching this show. He said, I felt like it was like fake. And I do think some of it is pretty scripted and pretty, like, you know, made up just to bring more views in. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's all very, and you know, also, it was one of the first real reality, if not the first, right? The first reality TV show, wasn't it? The Osbournes? I think so. But, you know, there are some things I felt like were maybe a little phony, a little scripted, but whatever, you know? So, and I think too, like, some of the episodes and some of what's going on, it's not maybe the most flattering for Ozzy, you know? There are some episodes where he kind of looks like a bumbling guy. But, I mean, you know, whatever. It was just really interesting to watch their dynamics as a family, see the struggles that they went through. You know, both, well, Amy Osbourne, the oldest daughter, well, he's got older kids. Louis, his oldest son, or is he his oldest son? One of his older sons was in the show too. But Amy, Sharon and Ozzy's oldest daughter, was not on the show. Because she was like, I don't need my life broadcasted to the masses, thank you. This is gonna look a little funky out here, but I'll use a wipe and kind of clean up the outer edge here so it's more crisp. But I'm just kind of trying to make it look a little less wonky right there right now. But it's gonna look a little wonky until I can kind of clean it up. Anyway, hello. Jack and Kelly, the younger two Osbourne, Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne kids, you know, they struggled with substance abuse and their careers and just a lot of stuff, you know, and just the typical teenage stuff. And some of it is so funny and some of it's sad, and, you know, some of it's very moving, and, you know, and I don't care what anybody says. I know that Sharon Osbourne has gotten some flack. I love Sharon Osbourne. I love her. I love her. I think she's amazing. I think she's one of the smartest, most savvy women in the world, but especially like in the music business. And I just really like her. I really do. And I know some people don't like her, and that's totally understandable. I mean, people are entitled to their opinions, but I just think she is amazing, and I adore her. I do. I think she is so fun and so smart and so great. I think she's beautiful. You know, I do think maybe she's had a little bit too much facial reconstruction done, but, you know, who am I to say? It's none of my damn business. You know, whatever. People are entitled to do whatever they want, but I am kind of like, maybe chill out a little bit on that. I don't know. But yeah, it was just really soothing, honestly, to watch that show and to see him again, just to see him and, like, I don't know, just watch him. I don't know. It was really fun. I want to put some more of that Secret Loser shade down, but that, again, the brush I chose. So let me find a different brush. Maybe I'll try my Blend Bunny brush. I don't know. I need to wash my brushes. I'm really running low on brushes that I like to use because they're dirty. So I'm like, oh, shit. So anyway, I'm just kind of using stuff that I don't necessarily really want to use, but I don't really have a whole lot of options because I have a lot of dirty brushes. But I would love to chat with you guys about Ozzy in the comments section, what songs of his you enjoy, what memories you have of him. Did you see him in concert? I remember when Ozfest happened and how cool that was. His last concert, you know, the one that he did like right before he passed, my husband and I watched the whole thing on YouTube, and that was really cool. There was one, I think it was, they did Crazy Train, right? And it was like, Billy Idol was part of it. Billy Idol and Steve Stevens, his guitarist, and then like, oh, I cannot remember who else. Some really awesome rock stars though, like sang that as like a tribute, you know, that tribute to him in that concert. And that was just the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh, amazing. You know, and I just, my heart goes out to his family. My heart goes out to his fans. You know, he was such a dynamic force in the rock and roll industry, and, you know, just this wild and crazy guy. And, you know, oh man, I was watching like YouTube shorts, and there was this AI thing, which I know people don't love AI, and I don't really love it either. And it looked a little weird, but there were like Ozzy, an AI Ozzy was like floating in the clouds, and there was these other, rock stars that have passed, like standing next to him, and they'd smile and they'd look at each other and they'd hug, and it was so great. And it was him and Randy Rhoads, which was his guitarist. And I'm like, yeah, hopefully, I hope Ozzy and Randy are together. Man, that really got me. That's what got me. I was holding it together pretty well. You know, I was feeling real sad. Excuse me, my mouth got all spitty. I was feeling very sad about it, of course, but then I saw that, him and Randy standing next to each other and hugging and smiling up in the clouds, and I was like, whoa, it just got me. Okay, I'm pretty much done. I don't love how this is blended right here. It looks a little bit weird. So I might try to mess around with that off camera, but I'm gonna go clean up the little bit of fallout, do my other eye, the rest of my face, dry my hair, and I will come back. So this, of course, is my finished look, and I really like how this look turned out. I don't know that my blending today was stellar, but this is the look that I have on my face, and I do really like it. So let me show you everything I have on my face, and then I will review the eyeshadow palette with you. Okay, base products. Same combo I use quite often. This is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator in medium, and then the Maybelline New York Dream BB Fresh BB Cream in medium. Powder, CoverGirl Clean Professional Loose Setting Powder in translucent. Bronzer, LYS No Limits Bronzer in, try it again, in Motivate, don't shut. Then for my blush, I use the Made by Mitchell Blush palette. I use this shade right here called Rosed. Took me a hot minute to figure out what blush shade would work well with this eye look, and I just went with that. I think pink looks great. Am I deluding myself? I don't know. Upper lid liner, of course, Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Felt Tip Liner in black. Mascara, Sky High from Maybelline New York. On my lips, I used a gloss from Milani. This is the Ludicrous Lights gloss in 120 Peach Ella. Now, I could have gone more bold with my lip color, and I just didn't feel like that because I really wanted my eyes to like be the focal point. I don't have any problems with people having a bold eye look and a bold lip color combo, or vice versa, or not, or what. So I'm not like, oh, I can't have a bold lip because my eyes are, no. I just wanted something a little bit softer because I really wanted my eyes to stand out. That's it. Because I know people get real, I don't know, weird about how other people do their makeup. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, okay, so now let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. Ozzy Osbourne Bat Palette from Rock and Roll Beauty. On my lower lash lines, I used No More Tears and Secret Loser. In my inner corners, I used Sin, and then also on my brow bone, just right under my brows. Now, what I will say is that these aren't the most high quality eyeshadows I have in my collection, and this shade was a little tricky for me to blend today. I don't know that it was the shade's fault, but it could have been. I mean, it could have been a combination of me not being at my blending peak today, and also the shade being not the greatest to manipulate. This shade here, Lords, gorgeous. It saved the look for me. It's blue, but it's got this really beautiful purple shift to it. And, you know, like I said, I just wanted something quick and easy because I got to go to work early today. There's tons of stuff I could have done differently today, but this is what I wanted to do. I think this says rock. I think it says Ozzy. And I don't think I've ever put these shades together before in a look. I'm positive I have not. So this might be real boring to some of you, but I really like it. I really do. I do, like I said, think that the eyeshadows aren't the greatest of quality out of, you know, if I look at my collection as a whole. But I will say that I'm never going to get rid of this palette. It will stay in my collection forever. I have such a love for Ozzy, and to have this, no matter how it performs, it's going to stay in my collection. I love it. And I'm really happy that Lynn was like, dude, do a video with the Bat palette. Yeah, of course. I don't know. I was going to wait, like I said, until I got the Jolie Beauty palette, which just shipped yesterday. But then I thought, well, why? This is in your collection. You love him. You want to show your love for him in a video. So just film with it. And I'm really glad that I did. I like the look. I think it's wonderful. Let me know what you think of this look in the comment section. And I would love to share in the comment section also your memories of Ozzy, his music, if you saw him in concert, if you watch the show, The Osbournes, or listen to the podcast, watch the podcast, whatever. I would love to chat with you guys about Ozzy and just share our love for him in the comment section. I hope that wherever he is just flying high again. That's a song of Ozzy's that I love. Been listening to that on repeat lately. And that, you know, he's just at peace, and I will always treasure his music. I will continue to listen to his music for the rest of my life. I'm really focusing in on Ozzy Osbourne music right now. Like, I've been listening to songs that I had never really listened to before, and I just love. And you know, because my husband's such a huge fan of his, he's introducing me to music that I just hadn't heard of Ozzy's before, so that's been really fun. But yeah, let's have an Ozzy Osbourne love fest in the comment section, and Throwback Thursday 63 is done and dusted. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.